Udhiya is the Arabic word for Qurbani. Qurbani is to sacrifice a specific animal on a specific day for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and for the intention of gaining the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Udhiya is made to observe the sunnah of Sayyidina Nabi Ibrahim alayhi salam. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Holy Quran, "Neither their flesh nor their blood reaches Allah, but your piety is acceptable to Him. He has subjected them to you that you may glorify Allah, for He has guided you and give glad tidings to the beneficent." Let us see how important Qurbani is and what Sayyiduna Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said about Qurbani. According to Tirmidhi Sharif and Sunan Ibn Majah, Sayyidina Aisha Siddiqa radiallahu anha stated that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "The son of Adam does not do any action on the day of Qurbani, which is more pleasing to Allah than the sacrifice of animals. And he will come on the day of Qiyamah with its hairs, horns, and hoofs for reward, and the blood of the sacrificed animal certainly reaches Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala before it falls down to the ground. So make yourselves purified therewith." What animals must be used for udhiya? Only the following animals may be sacrificed for Qurbani: goat and sheep with a minimum of 1 year each, number of shares 1. Cattle with a minimum of 2 years, number of shares 7. Camels with a minimum of 5 years, number of shares 7. Wild animals such as deer, white antelope, reindeer cannot be used to perform Qurbani. Each goat or sheep suffices for Qurbani for one Muslim male or female, whereas each head of cattle or camel could represent Qurbani for 7 Muslim males and females, provided that all 7 participants have uniformity in niyyah, either udhiya or aqiqah. All 7 have an equal share. Nobody is to have a larger portion than another, even at the time of distribution of the meat. It is permissible for less than 7 people to have shares in a camel or a head of cattle for udhiya, but not permissible for more than 7 people to do so. What type of defect animals are to be avoided? The animals for udhiya must be in a prime condition of health and free from defects. If there is a small defect with the animal, the udhiya will be valid, but it will be makruh. If the defect is quite large, then the udhiya will not be valid. The following defects in animals disqualifies them from being used for Qurbani: animals without ears or more than 1/3 of the ear is defective, partially blind, 1/3 or more, or totally blind animals, animals with horns broken from the root, with exception that if a bull has no horns from birth, then it is allowed. Animals that have most or all their teeth missing, animals which have limbs broken or used 3 legs to walk, animals with 1/3 or more or their tail cut off, sick and sick animals that lack the ability to move or walk. Rules of meat and skin during Qurbani. If the animal is bought jointly, then the meat should be weighed and equally distributed. It should not be divided roughly, because if it is divided unequally, then even if the person receiving less forgives them, it will not be forgiven, as the right is as per Sharia. Then split your share into 3 parts and give 1/3 to the poor as sadaqah, 1/3 to your relatives, and keep 1/3 for yourself, and eat the meat yourself and give some to your wife and children. If you have a lot of children and a large family, then you may keep all the meat for yourself, and if you wish, you may give all of it as sadaqah. However, it is better to keep one part for yourself. The skin of the animal must be given away as sadaqah. You may not sell the skin and use the money for yourself. It is allowed for you to sell the skin with the intention to give the money to a madrasa. The meat of the Qurbani cannot be given to the person performing the Qurbani or skinning the animal as labor or salary. If, however, you give it as a gift, as you would do to friends, it would be acceptable. But you cannot include it as a form of payment for his work. Distribution of Qurbani meat or any other charity sadaqah to Harbi Kafir is not permissible at all. Therefore, one cannot give the meat to a non-Muslim.